Welcome back, deep divers. We're doing something a little different today, going on an adventure, I guess you could say, into Rudyard Kipling's How the Rhinoceros Got His Skin.
A children's story?
A children's story. But trust me, this whimsical tale, it's got some surprisingly deep layers to it.
Interesting. Yeah, though what's really fascinating is that we're using just one source, a story that I think a lot of us probably heard when we were kids, to really explore, these big themes. Like consequences, cultural symbols. Yeah. It's amazing how these stories, even simple stories like this, can be so deep.
Totally. So picture this. A Parsi, a member of this Persian community with all these rich traditions, lives on this beautiful sunny island in the Red Sea.
Okay.
And what's he famous for?
What's he do?
Baking.
Baking.
Incredible cakes.
Right.
Kipling spends so much time describing this cake, it's crazy. 2 feet across.
Wow.
3 feet thick.
That's a cake.
I know.
That's not just any cake. He goes into so much detail about how big it is and how much work the Parsi put into it. You get the feeling that this cake, it's more than just some snack. It's like, you know how in a lot of cultures cakes represent like a celebration, hospitality? It feels like Kipling is using the cake to set up this clash of values, like something's about to go wrong.
Exactly. So we have our delicious cake, and then comes our rhinoceros.
Yeah.
Kipling says he has a horn on his nose, 2 piggy eyes, and few manners. Not exactly who you wanted your dinner party.
You aren't polite.
No.
And did you notice the words Kipling uses, like tramples and devours? Makes him sound like, kind of a beast, just going with his instincts. No manners at all.
Totally.
And that's important because it's like he's the opposite of the Parsi. The Parsi is all thoughtful, skilled.
Right. And this is where it gets really weird. So Kipling describes the rhino as originally having, okay, ready for this? Smooth, tight skin with 3 buttons. Buttons. Can you imagine? A rhino with buttons.
What? That's so strange.
It is strange. But it makes you think. Why mention the buttons? I think Kipling is doing this to show how different the rhino used to be. Yeah. Smooth, buttoned-up skin. And now look at him, all rough and wrinkly. It's like a mystery. How did he change?
Yeah.
And that's what the story is trying to explain.
Okay, yeah, I see that. It's like a before and after.
Right. And what causes the change?
What is it?
The cake. Our few manners rhino finds the Parsi's masterpiece and just gobbles it down. No hesitation.
Of course he does.
He even uses his horn as a plate. Come on. So rude.
It's like he's not just taking the cake. It's like he's disrespecting the Parsi's work.
Yeah.
And what the cake means to him.
Exactly. It's deeper than just stealing food. So the Parsi, understandably, wants revenge.
Oh, yeah. I'd want revenge, too. And Kipling makes it seem like the Parsi deserves to get revenge. Like what the rhino did was really wrong.
Totally. And the way he gets revenge. Brilliant.
How does he do it?
It's not about force or fighting. It's way more clever than that.
Okay, tell me more.
Oh, it's all about the cake crumbs. Just wait till you hear this.
The Parsi's patient. He waits like 5 weeks.
5 weeks?
Yeah. Until it's so hot that the rhino, he has to shed his skin. It just falls off.
Because of the heat?
Right. And that's when the Parsi makes his move. He takes the rhino's old skin and fills it with, you guessed it, cake crumbs.
Oh, wow. That's so clever.
Isn't it? The very thing the rhino stole is what brings him down.
It's like poetic justice or something.
Exactly. The Parsi, he knows that he can't just overpower the rhino. He has to be smarter. So he uses his baking skills for revenge.
That's amazing. So the rhino, he has no idea. He goes for a swim in the Red Sea, cools off, and comes back all ready to slip back into his skin.
And those cake crumbs, they're not so fun anymore.
I can only imagine. Kipling describes the rhino just rubbing himself against a palm tree like crazy.
Yeah.
Trying to get rid of the itch.
Itching like mad. But of course, it doesn't work. All that rubbing does is, it makes the folds in his skin.
So the rhino is literally creating his own problem. His bad manners lead to the stolen cake, then the cake crumbs, and now, itchy, uncomfortable skin forever.
And Kipling makes it sound like that's why the rhino is always grumpy.
Oh, I see. So it's like a chain reaction. One bad choice leads to another and then another.
It's a good reminder for all of us. Even small choices can have big consequences.
Totally. It's like that saying, for want of a nail. The whole story changes because of some cake crumbs. It makes you think, what small things in our lives have changed everything?
Yeah, maybe it's something someone said or a chance we missed or even, something nice we did that changed someone's life. Who knows?
It's pretty mind-blowing. All those little cake crumbs, they make us who we are.
Right. And Kipling's not just telling us to think about those crumbs, he's also saying we can do something with them. You know, use our experiences, our talents to make something amazing, just like the Parsi.
I like that. Be more like the Parsi. And the story also makes you think about, well, how to deal with conflict. The Parsi doesn't fight the rhino. He outsmarts him. He comes up with a creative solution.
Yeah. It's like thinking outside the box. Maybe the best solution isn't the most obvious one.
That's a good point. It's really cool how much Kipling packs into this story about, well, rhino skin.
Yeah. It's a kid's story, but it's talking about these big ideas, like what happens when we do things and how we're all connected. That's why people still love this story. It's for everyone.
Exactly. So next time you see a rhino with all those wrinkles and folds, maybe you'll think of this story. But it's not just about the rhino's skin, right? It's about choices, consequences, and being creative.
Right. Even in simple stories, there are big truths. Maybe we can all learn from the Parsi, use what we know, our own skills, to deal with problems, and maybe make the world a little better. Who knows?
Makes you think, huh? I mean, it's just a children's story, but it really gets you thinking.
It does. We think of these stories as just for fun. But Kipling's showing us, well, they can teach us about ourselves too. Like, what we do matters, even the little things.
Yeah. And it's not like we're dealing with rhinos and cake crumbs every day, but the idea's still there. Like, what are our cake crumbs? What have we done that's had these big ripple effects?
Right. Maybe we said something we shouldn't have, or missed a chance, or maybe, did something nice that changed someone's life. We all have those cake crumbs, good and bad.
It's true. It's all part of who we are. And I like how Kipling's saying, hey, we can do something with those crumbs. Like the Parsi, we can use what we've learned, what we're good at, to make something good.
Yeah. Maybe we can all be a bit more like the Parsi. Use our smarts, our creativity to deal with problems, and maybe even have some fun doing it.
That's a great way to think about it. And that's our deep dive into how the rhinoceros got his skin. Thanks for joining us on this adventure. It was a fun one.
It always is. I hope everyone keeps thinking about their own cake crumbs and what they can do with them. It's amazing what we're all capable of.
It is. So keep exploring, keep asking questions, and until next time, happy deep diving, everyone.